Hey, 13 days of giftmas. So I was filming a couple of videos back to back because I thought of the idea of doing 12 days of giftmas when it was only like 5 days till Christmas. So I was like, whoops, I gotta film a lot. And then while I was filming, I was kind of like thinking about, okay, what are the decks in 2021 that I got? So these are not necessarily decks that were released in 2021, but the decks that I got that kind of like changed my life. And I wanted to do a quick little up close and personal video to kind of show you. So they're not going to be featuring flip throughs. I'm just going to be showing the decks and talking about the decks from this point of view. And I have them all here. So one of the decks, most of the decks are mass market. Some of them are indie, and there's only one tarot deck. So one of the decks that I really liked in 2021 was the Prairie Majesty Oracle. I have done a very extensive flip through / review of this, so we're not going to do that right now. I'm just going to show you a card and tell you why I love it. This is going to be a mass market Hay House release, and I'm really happy for the creators because they deserve it, honestly. A deck that has really interesting art, that is not necessarily my favorite kind, but it's got this really charming quality to it. And then we get a big keyword at the bottom, and they're all verbs and very mindfully chosen verbs. This is probably the best written oracle deck I have seen of all time. This rivals my Threads of Fate Oracle, but this is way more affordable, and it's going to become way more affordable because it's going to be a mass market published deck. Only gripe is that I wish big publishers would scour Instagram and kind of scout good deck creators before they have to go through the hassle of Kickstarter, especially considering the amount of money that goes around in deck creating and deck publishing, because they are making lots of money right now. If you know that a deck like this 500 piece print run costs somewhere between $5 to $15 a deck, if you order 500 copies, imagine how cheap it is to print 20,000 copies of a deck. The initial investment is a lot. I do get that, but just saying. Because this deck, following the creation of this deck, was so inspiring and so cool. And yeah, so great big verb right here. Then the animal symbolism they chose right here and in the illustration. And then we get really lovely and thought-provoking questions at the top that you can use kind of for journaling and shit like that. So this one says, am I honoring my knowing? Wow. I have a really in-depth video on this deck that you can check out, and this deck will be available mass market soon. So if you missed out on this one, you can still get it from some places, but the mass market version is going to be just as good. So Prairie Majesty Oracle, rock my world. Another one that I never really reviewed on this channel, so I may as well show a little bit more of the cards, is, let me get it out of the box so it won't be as much of a hassle, is an older deck that kind of gets overlooked. It's a US Games Oracle deck. I'm not the biggest fan of US Games Oracle decks. I think the writing, especially for them, is a little bit tacky, a little bit bad. They're very obviously kind of out of their comfort zone when they do Oracle decks. But this one was drawn and written by Jody Bergsma. She had a very clear vision in mind. This is a great set. The cards are huge, and you will see why in a minute. There's a really nice spread poster in it, as well as a really good guidebook. It's called The Spirit of the Animals Oracle by Jody Bergsma. I would 10 out of 10 would recommend getting this deck, and I got this year. There's so many great illustrations on there, and then a pretty cool title keyword and a little bit of prose on the bottom. So you could use this deck quickly, you could use it whichever way you want. It features some magical creatures as well as actual animals. And it's amazing. I love Jody's art. I think it's really special, really refined. There's animals from all over the world in here, and the messages are just gorgeously written. Yeah, she's really great. She has another one that I almost also wanted to grab for this one. It's called Magical Times, which is more kind of like fairy-esque. They're both good. They're both kind of similar. The backs on this one, absolutely stunning. So yeah, you can get this for, you know, cheap. Tarot and Oracle doesn't have to be that expensive, like at all, not at all. So that was one that definitely changed my mind. Another one that kind of changed my life, not changed my mind, but I have become way softer. Like a year ago, it was all about, I was actually going through my collection kind of going, oh, why did I get these? They're all so dark. For example, I'm thinking of getting rid of this one, not quite sure about it yet. So the Black Tarot by Debris. It's so dark and depressing, and oh, like life should be a fucking party, and life is already dark and depressing enough. This one, the Tarot of the Light, used to be called the Art of Love Tarot, but the creators got really pissed off that everybody was using it as a love deck, because there's no such thing as a tarot deck for a specific purpose. A tarot deck is a tarot deck, the end. That's what they clearly write in this guidebook. So this reprinting is on Blue Angel's new cardstock, which is absolutely amazing. It features Tony Carmine Salerno's art. There's keywords on the cards that are not tacky, but that are thought-provoking. It is a gorgeous piece of art, and I haven't got this until recently, but it has already kind of changed my life. It is gorgeous. It is something that really adds something. The keywords add a layer to my tarot practice rather than limit my tarot practice. I'm not going to show all the cards, but Tony Carmine Salerno's art is kind of that more old school, new agey art style that I love. I love that. Like I said, I'm getting a little bit softer with myself. I'm no longer that, you know, we should stop taking things so seriously, because even the people that pretend they are very serious, they're not taking things seriously either. You know, like the whole tarot community with all the stupid love readings and twin flame readings and soulless decks that are getting pumped out month after month is, you know, is doomed anyway, and I just want to have fun while we crash and burn. Another one that really changed my life was this one, the Teen Angel Oracle deck, created by Miki Okuda. She released it in Japanese, and then Blue Angel contracted her to use her art so Rita Pietro Santo could create a more accessible English version of the deck. Some things did get changed in the translation, but it's fine. We get this really gorgeous, pretty, sort of like Miki Okuda kind of has this Asian art style. These cards are really glossy, wow. Has this Asian art style, but she's very influenced by Western imagery as well, so I wouldn't call this an anime deck at all, but it's very much it's very eclectic, very eclectic. I just had to press my screen right here because my battery's low and I'm a mess anyways, but the artwork in this deck is stunning. This is supposedly for teenagers, and I say screw that because it is very, very usable for anyone who wants to. The reason why I love this is that the keywords are very direct. Oh wow, this is one of my favorite cards in the deck. Pay attention to your self-talk. Like, that is a card that you can pull and take with you on your whole day and contemplate it and think about it, and you know, just things to think about. Grief and loss. How does grief and loss play a part in your life? They're really interesting. I love them, and this is by far my favorite deck that I bought in 2021. And then my final deck that I chose that I wanted to, whoops, something's going wrong here. The cards aren't fitting into the box properly. Like I said, I'm not going to be editing this. I'm a big fat mess and I don't care. I honestly don't care. If you want perfectly edited videos, go somewhere else. The final one that I wanted to show is my own. It's not a deck that I bought, but it's a deck that I created, not even in 2021, but I think this deck is really, really special. It's the primordial. This is a glossy version that I printed for myself because I don't mind gloss. I think colors can pop a little bit more when cards are glossy. If you buy it, you get a matte or satin version of it. This is a deck full of archetypes, direct messages, magical beasts, animals, great keywords, great concepts, great, vibrant, evocative art. And it's weird to say that about yourself, but this is everything I want and have ever wanted in an oracle deck, with masculine energy, and I just love it. I'm not going to be showing all cards, but yeah, oh, well, one more. This one is amazing. One more, one more after this. I just really love it, and you can still get these. And like I said, there is a more expensive version. That's the one I have in my hands right here. With matte cardstock though, that comes in this tin, which is pretty cool. But then, you know, the packaging is about as expensive as the whole deck to be printed. So what I did is I also uploaded a budget-friendly version of the deck that just comes in a plain white tuck box, and you can just keep it in that tuck box or buy a nice bag or whatever, so you can have the deck for a more affordable price. Because, you know, like I said, tarot deck prices, oracle deck prices are kind of, they're insane right now. And there's so many mass market gems that you can enjoy, and affordable decks out there that you can enjoy. What I learned in 2021 is that you can be whatever you want to be. You don't have to be a certain type of reader. You don't have to have certain decks to be a good reader. You don't have to adhere to standards to be a good reader. All you have to do is put in the work, and greatness will be headed your way. 2021 was a year of huge milestones. My decks are available in an actual store. My decks are available, one of my decks is available in a store in the UK. People have been coming to me for readings. I got a live reading gig where people actually came that don't even know me or follow me. Just a year of personal growth. I loved it, and I'm going to be taking some time off this Christmas break. So love you all, and bye-bye.